My next two guests, both instrumental in gaining concessions from newly minted Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Joining us now, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Great to see both of you. Congressman Gaetz, how confident are you that the concessions that you guys ended up winning are enforceable and you can hold on to them for these next 2 years?
Just moments ago, we passed the rules for the 118th Congress, and those included the enforcement mechanism of the one-member motion to vacate. Now, I don't anticipate that we'll ever have to use that, but it gives us the opportunity to ensure that our goals regarding policy, procedure, and personnel are met. We're going to have votes on term limits, balanced budgets, internal enforcement of our immigration laws. None of those things would have happened if we had caved on Monday. But by getting these concessions and coming to a stronger place, the House is in a stronger position.
Several months later.
Mr. Speaker, you are out of compliance with the agreement that allowed you to assume this role. The path forward for the House of Representatives is to either bring you into immediate total compliance or remove you pursuant to a motion to vacate the chair. Mr. Speaker, you boasted in January that we would use the power of the subpoena and the power of the purse. But here we are, 8 months later, and we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. That's how you know that the rushed and somewhat rattled performance you just saw from the Speaker isn't real. At this point, during Democrat control over the House of Representatives, they had already brought in Don Jr. 3 times. And we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden.
The yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Congressman, will you resign?
What's next?
Congressman, will you resign? Will you resign?
Will you put yourself back on the ballot, sir?
Did you mock the congressman's face?
Welcome back to Totally Based. I'm Joey Gaskin, and today we got to talk about Matt Gaetz and Kevin McCarthy being ousted. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on new content from me. Now let's get to it. All right, guys, so by now you've definitely heard that Kevin McCarthy has been ousted as Speaker of the House, and the man in charge for his head rolling is none other than Representative Matt Gaetz. Now, in case you forgot, Matt Gaetz made a deal with McCarthy back at the beginning of the year. He was hesitant to give him his votes. In fact, it took 15 votes for him to even agree to accept him as Speaker of the House. And I guess this is because Matt knew what we all know. McCarthy is a rhino. He has interests across the aisle with Democrats. He has lobbyists who fund him. These things are all a conflict of interest when it comes to the American people. So as a condition of him winning the Speaker of the House vote, Matt had McCarthy agree to a rule change. And that rule change is that any one member of Congress can call for the Speaker of the House to be ousted, which therein created the perfect opportunity for Matt to hold McCarthy accountable. And in my own personal opinion, I feel that this is brilliant. Matt is holding McCarthy accountable, and accountability is exactly what we need in our government. Here's a clip of McCarthy giving some of his final words.
Doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it is necessary. I don't regret standing up for choosing governance over grievance. It is my responsibility. It is my job. I do not regret negotiating. Our government is designed to find compromise. I don't regret my efforts to build coalitions and find solutions. I was raised to solve problems, not create them. So I may have lost a vote today, but as I walk out of this chamber, I feel fortunate to have served the American people.
Now, in case it isn't clear, this whole thing started over the CR vote. A CR stands for Continuing Resolution, which basically just means that the government's going to continue to spend the same thing that it's been spending. Now, this doesn't allow for reform. This doesn't allow for any of the new ideas that have come to the table to actually be exercised. And with the passing of this bill, it was stated that there would be no Ukraine funding attached to it. However, it seems that there may have been a backdoor deal between Joe Biden, the Democrats, and McCarthy. Check this out.
So we represent the pool, all the networks. Your message on this motion to vacate vote coming up at 2?
All I would add is that clearly somebody's been lied to, because we heard the president come out and say there was a deal with the speaker on Ukraine, and the speaker just stood up in front of all of us and said that there's no deal on Ukraine. The House Democrats say there's a deal on Ukraine. So we're going to have to sort that out. We're going to have to sort out who's lying, because somebody's lying about whether or not, as in this CR negotiation, there was a secret side deal on Ukraine funding. We'll see.
Do you think
Thanks,
this motion will succeed?
I rise to raise a question. What was the secret side deal on Ukraine? House Democrats and President Biden have said that as Speaker McCarthy was asking Republicans to vote for a continuing resolution so as to avoid having to take the Senate's plus up in Ukraine money, that the Speaker of the House was actually cutting a side deal to bring Ukraine legislation to this floor with President Biden and House Democrats. So let me get this straight. To extend Joe Biden's spending and Joe Biden's policy priorities, the Speaker of the House gave away to Joe Biden the money for Ukraine that Joe Biden wanted. It is going to be difficult for my Republican friends to keep calling President Biden feeble while he continues to take Speaker McCarthy's lunch money in every negotiation. The Speaker of the House has responded to these reports of a secret side deal on money for Ukraine, opaquely stating that he still wants to fund Ukraine and our border. I have a few replies to this statement. First, the Speaker's statement confirms the existence of a secret deal. And I have talked to members of our own leadership who have said they didn't even know that Speaker McCarthy was negotiating a secret side deal outside of our conference, outside of his own leadership team, for the sake of Ukraine.
It should be subject to open review, analysis, and not some backroom deal.
So
I do
motion
intend
to vacate tomorrow?
I do intend to file a motion to vacate against Speaker McCarthy this week. I think we need to rip off the Band-Aid. I think we need to move on with new leadership that can be trustworthy. Look, the one thing everybody has in common is that nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy. He lied to Biden. He lied to House conservatives. He had appropriators marking to a different number altogether. And the reason we were backed up against this shutdown politics is not a bug of the system, it's a feature. Kevin McCarthy's goal was to make multiple contradictory promises, to delay everything, back us up against shutdown politics, and at the end of the day, blow past the spending guardrails he'd agreed to.
You know, I think a lot of people underestimated Matt Gaetz. This is the first time this has ever taken place in history. McCarthy is a 40-year career politician. No one thought that he was going to actually follow through with this, but he did. And this is actually the first time that I'm seeing accountability play out in Congress. Matt held his feet to the fire, just like he said he would back in January. Now, I'm not personally a part of Matt's fan club, but back in September, Matt drafted a subpoena for Hunter Biden, and he gave it to McCarthy to sign. And McCarthy never signed it. And well, I guess this continuing resolution bill was the final straw for him. Because when you look at it, McCarthy was always a bought and paid for politician anyway. Check this out.
Did you think it was going to get to this way back in January when you said, you know, McCarthy will give you the gavel, but you know what, one vote is all it's going to take going forward? Did you think you were going to have to pull that lever?
No, I never thought we'd be at this moment, Eric, and it's because in February and March, we really saw Speaker McCarthy adhere to the agreement he'd made with House conservatives to try to bring the House of Representatives more in line with what the American people think governing should be, not just wrapping everything up in one big up or down vote with disparate things combined together, stuff that wouldn't otherwise pass if it wasn't lashed onto something else. And Kevin McCarthy broke so many of the promises he made in January, we started to see the House of Representatives revert back to its corrupt old muscle memory of just omnibus bills, continuing resolutions, and more of the same. I remember in January when Kevin McCarthy said that he was going to use the power of the subpoena and the power of the purse. Well, he didn't even send a subpoena to Hunter Biden. The Kevin McCarthy speakership ends 9 months into the exercise without a single request to produce documents or testimony to Hunter Biden. What that shows you is that he wasn't serious about oversight. It was just a puppet show, a side game. We need a new speaker who's going to believe in robust oversight, who's going to send the subpoenas and get the job done. And when it comes to the power of the purse, all we've seen from Kevin McCarthy is a willingness to just build a yellow brick road for the Democrats. And when it comes to how those raise money, I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have, oh, boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you. I reserve.
I just love Matt's energy there. It felt like a mic drop moment. It was super based, I will say that. But anyway, guys, if you like this video and you like the content I'm bringing to you, please like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.